Well, give yourselves a pat on the back because you made it to Friday. Good afternoon and thanks for tuning in. I'm Jurnee Taylor. And although we are expecting rain for the weekend, we can still celebrate anyway because it's the end of the work week for many. Meteorologist Nathan Scott joins us. And Nathan, I know you can still tell us something nice to set the weekend off, right?
I will say enjoy today, Jurnee.
Okay.
Because it feels like spring out there. Temperatures have already climbed up into the low 70s at Little Rock, and that's because we're seeing breaks in the cloud cover from Little Rock and off to the north and west. More clouds down to the south, but everybody is unseasonably warm for this time of year. Now, underneath those clouds, we do have a little bit of rain continuing to happen just down to the south and east of Little Rock. A few showers, even one lone storm tried to develop early this morning. And as we take a look here a little bit closer, what's happening right through, say, Lincoln County, also into Cleveland County, there's a little shower. Highs today, they're topping out into the low 70s area wide. We will have the chance of a pop-up shower storm. But then as we go into this evening and tonight, as a front starts to approach from the west, there's enough ingredients in place that we could see one or two strong, possibly severe thunderstorms. Here's the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. It's a 1 out of 5 risk. So that's the lowest level, but certainly we do have that chance. I'll have more on this potential severe weather and talk about a soggy weekend in store coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Plenty of promises being made by Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr. On Thursday, he gave the annual State of the City address where he shared his vision for the future of Little Rock.
First, we are holding ourselves to new core values. As the church said, the time is now.
Top of his agenda, a third attempt at getting a new sales tax passed. Additionally, the mayor is focusing on keeping crime numbers down by working closely with the police and increasing safety measures. But it doesn't stop there. The mayor is also working to bring more to those who live in the city.
It breaks my heart that residents of our great city are paying rent, but still have no running water. Their places are infested with roaches and sick from black mold. Enough is enough.
A proposal is in the works that could allow code enforcement to have more power over holding landlords accountable. For more information, you can find this story on our website. That's thv11.com. Meanwhile, the For Our Kids Amendment has yet again failed to gain the stamp of approval. Attorney General Tim Griffin has rejected the initiative for a second time now. He cites the usage of the terms provision and tax benefits inside the legislation needs to be fixed to avoid a misleading title on the ballot. Griffin has requested the For Our Kids be advised before he can move forward. Meanwhile, momentum is being made in the continuing dispute between the Board of Corrections and the governor's office. On Thursday, Governor Sanders selected Lindsay Wallace to serve as the board's new secretary. Wallace previously served as chief of staff for the DOC back in 2020. Sanders released a statement following her decision stating, quote, "The safety of Arkansas is my priority. I have a responsibility as governor to ensure our Department of Corrections operates under qualified leadership," end quote. The board will take action on the nomination once all members agree to a meeting. Now to a few crime alerts this afternoon. North Little Rock police are continuing their search for a 37-year-old man wanted for capital murder and aggravated robbery. The case dates back to July of 2017 and involved the homicide of Damian Mitchell. The man responsible for his death, Marshadarick Wadi, police say his last known location was with family members in either Sherwood, Dumas, or Pine Bluff. If you see or know anything that can help, you're urged to contact police at 501-771-7149. Meanwhile, a prosecuting attorney has justified the actions of a police officer after the shooting death of a Conway man. The shooting happened in November of 2023 as officers attempted to serve a search warrant for 78-year-old Albert Schubert. After entering his home, police say Schubert was found with a firearm. That's when he was then shot dead by police. And a Benton woman is now in police custody where she faces 20 counts of distributing, possessing, or viewing child sexual abuse materials. Regina Allen was booked into the Saline County Detention Center where she awaits a future bond hearing. Attorney General Tim Griffin says the arrest was made on Thursday after executing a search warrant. The Attorney General issued an official statement on the arrest that reads, quote, "I am grateful to the special agents in my office who investigated this case and thankful to the Benson Police Department for its assistance," end quote. Now, in addition to that, he says, "My office will continue to fight against those who prey on Arkansas's children." President Joe Biden is dodging criminal charges after handing over classified materials to a special counsel. However, concerns over the president's mental health continue to linger. Natalie Brand shares Joe Biden's heated response to the questioning of his state of mind.
My memory is fine.
In an unexpected news conference, a defiant President Biden refuted some of the findings of the special counsel investigating his handling of classified documents. Special counsel Robert Hur, in his report, noted memory lapses and said Mr. Biden could not recall the exact timeline of his vice presidency or when his son Beau died.
How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business.
The report also concluded Biden's actions posed serious risks to national security, given the sensitive material found in his Delaware home and at a Washington, D.C. office that Biden used after his time as vice president. But the Department of Justice declined to bring criminal charges, saying the evidence does not establish Mr. Biden's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
I did not break the law.
The report also noted Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury as he did during our interview with him as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. News the DOJ is not pursuing charges is welcome here at the White House, but the president and his re-election campaign face damage control over the report's renewed focus on the 81-year-old's memory.
It's unnerving that the world can see this. You know, and if that's their impression, then that's not good for America.
The White House counsel's office has asked the special counsel to revise the language in the report, calling the characterizations of President Biden's memory prejudicial and inflammatory. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Former President Trump has claimed a big victory after winning the GOP nomination in Nevada. The Associated Press had called the race as Trump garnered 97% of the vote. The former president expressed his pleasure with the margin of victory and claims he would have considered anything over 80% a win.
This was a great day. This was a great night. Our Supreme Court hopefully will be doing something in terms of helping our country and preserving democracy. We have to preserve our democracy. And I think they had a very...
The big win comes as a legal dispute over whether or not Trump's name will appear on the presidential ballot continues to play out in court. Now, on Thursday, the Supreme Court heard arguments in regards to the issue. Both liberal and conservative justices remain undecided, but seem to agree that Colorado's actions to keep Trump off of their ballot should not have national influence. Trump himself was not in attendance at the hearing. Millions will be tuned in to the big game on Sunday, but it's more about than what's happening on the field. A look at the growing excitement over this year's commercials after the break.
And it's going to be a good weekend to stay indoors because the rain chances have really ramped up both Saturday and Sunday. We're going to have to deal with some soggy times, and I'll have more on what you can expect not only for the weekend, but the severe weather potential out there this evening tonight coming up.